Well, yesterday we covered the fact that Republican Senator Tim Scott has announced his candidacy for President of the United States, or as he said it, President of the United States of America. And I have more from his kind of first 24 hours of campaigning, and it's on the issue that I find to be the most bizarre watching him deal with, which is Trump. Trump is leading in all of the polls by a very significant margin. He would be the guy you have to beat as a Republican in the GOP 2024 presidential primary. So if you're running in that primary, it is definitely incumbent upon you to explain how you're going to defeat him, what your message is for voters to defeat him, why you're better than him, all of that. And Tim Scott just seems incapable of doing so. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Almost anyone could make a case for why they are much better than Donald J. Trump, but so many are terrified to do so. Take a look at this from Tim Scott.
Have to go back to the former president because his lead is so mighty. How do you take on someone who literally fights to fight? I mean, I know you saw 2016, you saw 2020. Donald Trump is a master at it. What's your game plan?
My game plan is a simple one. I'm running for president of the United States, and I plan to be the nominee. So the good news is, for the American people, you will have a stark contrast between me and the rest of the field. I look forward to being the messenger that actually adds to our party without diluting our conservative values.
Have to go back to the former.
What? The question was, Trump's lead is so mighty, as Harris Faulkner said. How do you take on someone who literally fights to fight? Trump is a master at it. And then Tim Scott says that. And then I have another example for you from a recent MSNBC interview.
He sent out a tweet saying, "Good luck to Senator Tim Scott in entering the Republican."
So this is him reading Trump's True Social response to Tim Scott, as we discussed yesterday, where Trump's clearly not concerned about Tim Scott's candidacy, which is not a good sign when you're getting into a primary.
Presidential primary race. He's complimenting you. It's rapidly loading up with lots of people, and Tim is a big step up from Ron DeSanctimonious, who is totally unelectable. It doesn't sound like former President Trump is worried about you.
Well, I'll say this, I'd appreciate his vote as well. So the truth of the matter is that I do think that the power of persuasion is necessary for the next president. I happen to look forward to being that next president, and so I will take all votes I can get from anyone, anywhere, anytime as I head into this election.
You're saying,
so,
I'm listening to you. You're saying you're a better deal maker than President Trump, former President Trump?
What I'm saying is that I look forward to persuading the American people, right and left, within my base and on the far side, to making sure that we move this country forward using common sense, finding common ground. It's one of the reasons why I said, and I meant it when I said it, whether it's a boardroom or classroom, whether it's skeptics, even in a church, I plan to take my message to every corridor.
I've said this before, but there are a lot of politicians who, in their brain, they just have a little talking point machine that's inputted. The input is a bunch of their advisors and little whiteboard sessions where they write down phrases that they think will be effective, and it's all kind of there. And then the machine just automatically spits out random talking points in response to any question. And that doesn't seem like a winning strategy. How are you going to beat Trump? I'm going to take votes from anyone, anywhere, anytime, and find consensus. And I don't know what that means. What? And it's Trump's party still, which is really unfortunate. But I at least wanted to see someone put up a good political, metaphorical fight. And it looks like we're not going to see that. I discussed yesterday, maybe Chris Christie will jump in and he doesn't have a chance of winning, but he could kind of cause a ruckus, get his revenge for him feeling betrayed by Trump, and he could actually critique Trump effectively. But if not him, DeSantis would have to up his critiques a lot, up his criticisms a lot for it to be anywhere close to what you would need to take on someone like Trump. Tim Scott clearly is not going to do it. I was wondering, we discussed in the lead up to this, because Tim Scott had created that exploratory committee and he was obviously going to run, some past interviews he's done. And I was thinking, okay, maybe there's a chance that just in the build up, until he was definitely sure he wasn't going to roll out a plan for criticizing the front runner, and explaining how he's better than the front runner and winning over voters who currently support that front runner. But now he's actually officially announced it's time, let's go, and he's not going to do it. Really unfortunate, and I think that shows a lack of courage, as is being exemplified by so many of these candidates in the field or who are about to get into the GOP primary field.